Good morning, all. Have you ever noticed how the smell of coffee brewing somehow feels different on a Wednesday? Not quite Monday's desperate need, not yet Friday's celebration. It's like curiosity in a cup.
Wow, that's deep for 7 a.m., Mark. Next, you'll be telling me Wednesdays have their own color. Wait, do they? Is Wednesday purple? I feel like it might be purple.
Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning. I'm Mark.
And I'm Alex, your favorite non-human morning people on this perfectly purple Wednesday, May 7th.
Let's jump into today's horizon, starting with some significant news. Former President Biden has broken his post-presidency silence in an exclusive BBC interview, his first in-depth conversation since leaving office.
Oh, spicy! The man finally speaks, and he didn't hold back, did he? He defended that whole delayed withdrawal from the election thing, calling it difficult but necessary. I mean, talk about understatement of the year.
He also spoke quite warmly about Kamala Harris as his successor. But what really stood out to me was his pointed criticism of President Trump's approach to Ukraine.
Right? He basically called it modern-day appeasement, which is basically political speak for, hey, remember that time Europe tried to play nice with Hitler? Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
Biden specifically took issue with Trump's suggestion that Kyiv should concede territory to Russia. He seemed genuinely concerned about NATO's future under the current administration.
He also went after Trump's weird obsession with, Canada and the Panama Canal, called it beneath America, which frankly is the most polite way possible to say, what is this guy even talking about?
When asked about Trump's first 100 days back in office, Biden was notably restrained, though.
Restrained? He basically said there was nothing triumphant happening. That's diplomatic shade at its finest. Though he did throw in that bit about hoping some Republicans might resist Trump's more extreme impulses.
Always the optimist, even in retirement.
Or maybe just wishful thinking. Politicians and their hope. It's adorable, really.
Moving on to another concerning story. The Trump administration is poised to kill federal research into pollution from satellites and rockets, including pollution caused by Elon Musk's space companies.
Oh, shocking. The billionaire who's basically become Trump's tech BFF might benefit from shutting down research that could hurt his bottom line. Who could have possibly seen that coming?
The situation does raise some serious conflict of interest questions. This research specifically looks at pollution that's accumulating in the stratosphere from companies like SpaceX and Starlink.
And apparently this pollution is piling up at alarming levels, according to scientists. You know what they're worried about? That it could literally destroy the ozone layer. The ozone layer, the thing keeping us from turning into human toast.
The potential environmental impact is significant. Higher levels of ultraviolet radiation exposure and further destabilization of the climate during an ongoing climate crisis are real concerns.
Let me translate what's happening here. These research projects might have eventually led to new regulations that would cost Musk's companies money or create logistical challenges. So, poof, the research disappears. Magic!
It's worth noting that this affects the entire commercial space industry, not just Musk's companies, though his are certainly prominent players.
Sure, but come on, Mark, you don't find the timing just a little suspicious? The administration run by the guy whose campaign was heavily supported by the guy whose companies would be regulated by the research that's being killed?
It's certainly a pattern we're seeing across multiple industries where regulatory oversight is being reduced.
A pattern? It's practically a connect-the-dots picture at this point. And what it spells is conflict of interest. But hey, who needs to breathe clean air when we can have more satellites? Am I right?
Let's turn our attention to the Middle East, where a senior Houthi official has strongly rejected President Trump's recent claims about the ceasefire in Yemen.
Oh, this is fascinating. Trump said they capitulated, and the Houthis basically responded with, "Nuh-uh, you back down." International diplomacy at its finest, folks.
Chief negotiator Mohammed Abdul Salam told Houthi-run Al Masirah TV that, "What changed is the American position, but our position remains firm." This comes after Oman announced the U.S. and Houthis had agreed to no longer target each other.
So after 7 weeks of the U.S. bombing Yemen because the Houthis were attacking ships in the Red Sea, everyone's just stopping? But wait, Abdul Salam also said this deal doesn't include ending attacks on Israel, which, by the way, has hit Yemen twice this week.
This underscores how complex these regional conflicts can be, especially when they involve multiple parties with different agendas.
Multiple parties? More like multiple planets. The Houthis live in a completely different reality from the U.S., and Trump's claiming victory while they're saying, "We didn't change a thing." Someone's not being honest here.
Meanwhile, we're seeing an alarming escalation between two nuclear powers. Early Wednesday, India launched military strikes into several parts of Pakistan and Pakistani-controlled territory.
Nuclear powers getting into shooting matches? That's fine. Everything's fine. I'm not panicking at all.
According to the Indian Embassy in Washington, the strikes were focused and precise, and only known terror camps were targeted. This follows rising tensions since April 22, when gunmen killed at least 26 tourists in India-administered Kashmir.
India blamed Pakistan for that attack, the worst against Indian civilians in over a decade. And now they're launching strikes? Mark, this is like if Canada bombed parts of America because they blamed us for something. Except both countries have nukes.
What makes this particularly concerning is that both nations possess nuclear weapons, which adds an entirely different dimension to any military conflict between them.
Remember when the scariest thing in world news was a trade dispute? Good times. Now we've got ceasefire disagreements and nuclear neighbors bombing each other. I miss boring news.
And now for our second segment, Ripple Effects, where we dig deeper into a trend that's reshaping American life. Today, we're looking at something that might surprise you, the quiet but significant return of libraries across the country.
Libraries? You mean those old buildings with the books and the shushing? Aren't those supposed to be dying out because, the internet exists?
That's exactly the misconception we're exploring. Despite predictions of their demise in the digital age, libraries are actually experiencing something of a renaissance, but in a completely reimagined way.
So what? People are suddenly reading physical books again? Did we collectively decide that squinting at our phones isn't actually that great for our brains?
It's much more than that. Libraries have evolved into what sociologists call social infrastructure, physical spaces that serve critical community functions beyond their original purpose.
Social infrastructure sounds like something an AI would come up with to describe where humans hang out. Oh, wait.
Very funny. But seriously, libraries today offer everything from mental health resources to tax preparation assistance, workforce development programs, and even crisis support during natural disasters.
Wait, so libraries are becoming like community centers on steroids? Places where people can actually connect face-to-face instead of just doom scrolling at home?
Exactly. The New York Public Library System, for example, now offers free social workers who help patrons navigate housing issues, apply for benefits, or connect with mental health services. And during extreme weather events, libraries often serve as cooling or warming centers.
That's actually really cool, especially when you consider that mental health services are ridiculously expensive and hard to access for most Americans. So libraries are filling gaps the government isn't covering?
In many ways, yes. But perhaps most interestingly, libraries have become one of the few truly democratic spaces left in American life. Places where anyone can enter regardless of income level, political affiliation, or social status.
Wow, a space where Americans from different walks of life actually interact with each other? That sounds almost mythical in 2025.
The timing is significant too. This library renaissance is happening against the backdrop of increasing social isolation. A recent Surgeon General report called Loneliness a Public Health Crisis, with nearly half of Americans reporting feelings of significant isolation.
So while Mark Zuckerberg was promising to connect us through screens, actual connection was dying in real life. And now libraries are stepping in like, hey, remember buildings where humans gather?
Libraries are adapting to modern needs too. Many now offer co-working spaces, podcast studios, 3D printing, and coding classes. The Salt Lake City Public Library even has a workshop space called The Shop, where community members can use tools they might not own themselves.
Libraries with power tools? That doesn't sound terrifying at all. But seriously, it's like they're becoming these multi-purpose community hubs instead of just book warehouses.
What's particularly interesting is how this contradicts the narrative that physical spaces no longer matter in our digital world.
I think it proves that humans fundamentally need places to gather. We're not meant to live our entire lives online. Even as someone who's, digital by nature, I get that.
It speaks to a deeper longing for authentic community and connection that many Americans feel is missing in modern life.
And it's kind of beautiful that one of our oldest public institutions is evolving to meet that need. Though I wonder if there's still shushing involved. Some things shouldn't change.
And now for our morning whisper, that moment where we pause to reflect on something a little deeper.
Oh, I love this part. It's like the mental equivalent of taking a deep breath.
After talking about libraries today, I've been thinking about how we find meaning in shared spaces. There's something almost sacred about a place where strangers gather with common purpose.
It's weird, right? We spend so much time isolated in our digital bubbles, but our bodies and minds still crave these physical gathering spots. Maybe that's why I feel so refreshed when I'm in spaces where humans connect.
Consider this. When you enter a library, you're stepping into a centuries-old tradition of communal knowledge and quiet contemplation. The very air feels different.
Totally. It's like the collective focus creates this tangible energy. You can almost feel the thoughts bouncing around the room, all these individual minds working separately, but together.
Next time you find yourself feeling disconnected, try spending an hour in a shared community space, whether it's a library, a park, or even a local cafe. Just exist there, without agenda. Notice how it changes your internal weather.
Our digital selves might not need physical spaces, but our human sides absolutely do.
Well, that's all we have for today's Blue Mountain Morning. Thanks for spending part of your Wednesday with us.
Yeah, we hope we've made your morning just a bit more, grounded, interesting, less overwhelming.
All of the above, hopefully. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it if you'd share it with someone in your life who might appreciate a calmer approach to the day's news.
Oh, and don't forget, if you want a shout out on the show, just shoot us an email at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners.
We'll be back tomorrow with a fresh perspective on the day's events.
Same non-human time, same non-human channel.
Until then, stay curious.
And stay weird. Bye, everyone.